You know, moments like that, it just goes to show you how quick this year's gone by. I can't believe this year's almost over. I think if I haven't learned anything else this year, I learned to sit and wait. Wait, sit. Oh, um, once again, I want to wish all the mothers happy Mother's Day. And just in case I'm not here, when you ladies who aren't mothers become mothers, happy Mother's Day. And I'm going to take a little personal privilege, and I'm going to ask my ushers to help me out with a little, I guess, a little token of appreciation to the mothers. And since there aren't many mothers in here, enough mothers in here, put it that way. Since there aren't enough mothers in here, all the ladies here. Good morning, I know. God bless. Because I'm going to tell you straight up. James Brown, see, I'm be it out there. She come up with James Brown, so I'm going to give you something else from James Brown. James Brown said it's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing. Nothing. Without, bottom line is, like you said, we make cars, we make planes, we make trains. But the truth be told, without you, yeah. Um, thanks for being mothers. Thanks, thanks, thanks. I love my mama, dearly. Just like Mother Bessie, my mama gone. But it just be a Mother's Day. Thinking about my mom. Well, this is not a Mother's Day sermon, but it was inspired by my mom. Okay. Um, this morning, before we get started, first things first. Almighty God, the God that sits up high, the God that is mindful. I stand before you right now, Heavenly Father, willing vessel is asking you, use me for the edification. Use me for the lifting up of the name of Jesus. Use me in such a way that you receive all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. For it is all yours. So now I look to thee, my help comes created in heaven. So, in the precious name of Jesus Christ, our Lord, our Savior, and our Redeemer, I pray this prayer. Church, in the Gospel of Matthew, in the 5th chapter, the 13th verse, you will find these words. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt hath lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and to be tried unto the good of men. Now, I don't know about you, but as I sit here and I think back, when the table would be set, and the whole family would sit down at the same time, the food would be blessed, and it would be time to eat dinner. That dinner that Mama had prepared for us, the food that she poured her heart into. And yes, she might have poured her heart into the food, but she poured her soul into those dinner rolls. She cooked dinner on Saturday. She cooked Sunday dinner on Saturday. And like I said, she might have poured her heart into the food, but she poured her soul into those dinner rolls. Because there's one thing I wish I had learned before she left up out of here. I wish I would have learned how to make those dinner rolls. But let me not get off track. I want to get back to what I was saying. The food would be blessed, and it would be time to eat it almost without fail. There would be someone at the table who would always say, "Can somebody please pass the salt?" So this morning, I would like to speak on the topic. Please pass the salt. Now you've heard me hearing already the scripture text. I'd like to read it once more before I begin. It says, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt hath lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and tried unto the feet of men." Now, as we look out upon the world that we live in, especially for those of us that live in urban areas where we see that our world, for the most part, is cold, it's bland, and it's a decadent place, especially when viewed from the perspective of a Christian worldview. Wait a hold. Maybe I shouldn't say a Christian worldview, because I would be more correct if I used the term a biblical worldview. Because you know, like I know, the Christian worldview is seemingly ever changing and evolving to the there's any difference between what the Christian believes and what the secular world believes. You all know exactly what I'm talking about. You see, there are times in our lives when we find ourselves face to face with those tight spots and difficult choices. We must decide to do what the world says, or we must decide to do what the Bible says. Like when you go out to the party because you know that everybody who is anybody is going to be there, especially for those of you who desperately want to be accepted and be accepted by your peers but you've been warned by your parents. Stay away from folks like that. Stay as far away as you possibly can. So now tell me, what do you do? Or it might be this one. You're far away from home. You're far away from home at school and no one to tell you what to do. They don't tell you what to do. They don't tell you when to do it. Ain't nobody to tell you how to do it. It's you out there and you're all on your own making your own decisions and choices. Papers due in the morning, or some friends come by and say, yo, man, come on, let's go do this, or let's go do that. What do you do? What do you do? For some, it might be that Friday or Saturday night call. It comes in around 8:30, 9 o'clock. The phone rings and you can see on the call ID that it's Mr. or Mrs. Up to no good calling you and you know exactly what they want. Do you answer the phone? Or you just turn and walk away? I could go on and on and on with all different kinds of scenarios that we as God-fearing and God-loving Christians face. But because there are so many scenarios as there are days in our lives, and you're not too careful to make a stand, to make that stand being bold and beautiful upon a biblical principle and standards, we may find ourselves winding up in the general hospital, if you know what I mean. But we find ourselves in times like these. The text suggests, not merely suggests, but it declares, you are the salt of the earth. Now I know you're probably sitting there and you're saying, preacher, what salt has to do with anything? You know what? I'm so glad you asked. Because salt has everything to do with everything. Salt of the earth and just about all living creatures is like a Bible to all Christians. You see, like the Bible, salt is readily available, yet it's undervalued. Now, if you would just bear with me in a second, I want to try to school you on a little bit about something called salt. First of all, the most common form of salt is primarily a compound of two elements, sodium being one, chloride being the other. One is a metal and one is not. But these two make up our table salt. Like you said, did somebody prove that salt? That's what it is, sodium chloride. Now I want you to realize this fact. There are many different types of salt. You know, you got extra salt, you got table salt, you got sea salt, you got salt. There's a lot of different types of salt. But the most common form of salt is sodium chloride, which we use as table salt. But I'm not going to venture into that right now because the next thing I want you to know is that this thing called salt is whether you believe it or not, is necessary for you to live. Without the salt in your body, you know your muscles don't contract. But you didn't know that, did you? But without your muscles contracting, we come up with a problem because that means that little muscle is sitting in the cavity in your chest. It won't pump. It won't pump without no salt. So you see, salt is vital. Salt is vital to our survival. So I'm just gonna ask you, could somebody preach that salt? And when you think about it, we as salt of the earth are as vital to are vital for his survival, because right now, as we look out, we can clearly see the decadence that's all abounds in our society and the world in general. Which brings me to yet another thing that salt is good for. You see, back in the days, in Jesus' time, up until refrigeration became widely available, salt was used as a preservative. A preservative. Um, so we look out and we see that our society is rapidly decaying right in front of our eyes. People doing what they feel is right and what makes sense to them, but goes against everything God has told us in His Word. We must remember that Proverbs 14